So this is the biggest problem with the Sherman. What's wrong with this picture you see here? These buttons come out every single day, it seems. Look, see that button there? You can see it's coming out as well. See, if I don't push that back in now, it's going to fall out within a day. So every single day, I've got to check on these buttons and make sure they're not going to come out, because they just work themselves out somehow. Every single day. And every day I check them multiple times. And with these ones that are missing, I was doing that too. Every day I would be checking them, and they still got away from me. It's ridiculous. This is absurd, because this happened with the original Sherman too. And supposedly they fixed it, but I didn't see any difference. They sent me a new top cover and it was exactly the same. Same looking buttons, everything looked the same. And they fell out just the same. So obviously they didn't fix it. What's so hard about getting some freaking rubber caps that don't fall out? And I think this is responsible for most of the cutouts that you hear on Shermans. You don't hear about many, but from what I've heard, from the few I've heard, someone said they suspected water got into their control board. I think they might have seen a drop in there. And obviously these buttons are falling out. That's going to let water in, because there's just a hole. Look, see, it just goes directly into the thing. But aside from the dangers it poses, it's annoying as hell, because you can't press this button out. Every morning now, I gotta jam my thumb in there and squeeze hard. I can't do it with my gloves on. So often what I'll do is I'll get ready to leave. I'll have my gloves on, you know, and I'll be ready. And then I'll go to turn on, and then I'll go to turn this thing on, and I can't do it. You need bare fingers. You need to jam them in there. So I'm going to replace them now. The other thing, this only applies to the Max, or maybe only my Max, I don't know. But look, you know these charge port covers on the back here? Look, it's ripped off. Why? Because for some reason they've used this really hard rubber. I don't know where they got this stuff from, but the OG Sherman has soft rubber. And it was still going. I've had it for 2 years and it hasn't ripped. This Sherman Max, I've only had it for like a couple of months. It's already ripped because this rubber is brittle. It's like old, cheap rubber or something. And so I did order a new pair of these, and I'm hoping they sent me some decent rubber this time. And that's it. That's all that's wrong with the Sherman, really. Aside from the low pedal clearance. We know it's got low pedal clearance. Speaking of that, I've got a little mod for that I still haven't installed. Fuck off. The good thing about the Sherman though is to fix this up, I'm not going to have to even take off the side covers, nor the pedals, just the top cover. So that's what's really good about this thing. When you're servicing anything that's involved up here, you only need to take this top cover off. It's just 4 screws. Oh, and I would need to take this handle, just the top part of the handle off in this case, because I'm going to have to take the screen off to fix these buttons. So let's do this. 4 screws. Just to show you guys how easy this really is. I'm lazy about it though. When something happens, I often delay it. I put it off, procrastinate. I don't know how many times I had to friggin' press that button like that, like super hard. But I was getting sick of it. I decided, no, I gotta replace this thing. Take this tape off. Well, it's got a lot of residue in there from the tape. Oh well. So look, see, that's what it looks like. And we just need to get that screen apart, and you can see there's 2 cables, or just 1 cable really. So let's disconnect that. See that cable there? Just unplug that, like that. So it's just that white cable there. You know what? You could do it without taking the top of the handle off, but it would be way more tedious. Because see, you got to take off these screws on that screen. If you just do it while you're holding it up there, it'd be annoying. So let's take the top of the handle off. It's not very hard. 4 screws. See those 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. And don't worry, this is really easy to put together again. It's like a 2-second job. Almost literally. So now that that's off, you can just slide this straight over the top. And now we can just work on this on its own. And it's very easy. I'm not like, it's not much work really. So we'll see, what are we gonna do here? So you can see got to place 2 buttons. First, let's open this package. We got this little package. That's probably the best company in Australia by a long shot. There's another one I haven't tried, but I'd say they're the best. We've got In Motion, King Song, Bigodi, and Veteran. So let's open it. Got the box cutter. We call this a Stanley knife in Australia. So I'm expecting a new trolley handle assembly from my OG Sherman. What happened actually is I broke the trolley handle assembly on this Sherman, on the Max. I dropped it against the wall and it just like bent it. It mangled it. So what I did, because they didn't have any in stock and I was going to have to wait weeks for a new trolley handle assembly, I just took my OG's trolley handle assembly and installed it on the Max. Because I use the Max more than the OG. Mainly because the tire is better balanced. Like my OG has a bent rim. Once I address that, I don't know what I'm going to ride more. It probably will be the OG, to be honest. Because I never need all this range. It's something Chooch talked about in his, or like in Sensei Vegan's last video, they were talking about how you rarely use that much range, and it's true. It's good to have a long range wheel, but you only need one. So they're the new, yeah, it feels like they've used the soft rubber on the new ones, which is good. So that's the screen, top cover, and all I'm going to do is take the buttons off of this, and that's all the trolley handle assembly pieces. So yeah, we've got what we expected here. Maybe I should just replace this whole screen. What do you reckon? Maybe this old one is going to lose its buttons again. I don't know. Yeah, let's do it. Let's replace the whole thing. It'll probably be just as easy. It'll probably take the same amount of time anyway. So 4 screws. Easy peasy, this stuff. Oh look, they didn't bother with the 5th and the 6th screw. See, there's 2 more screw holes there. If you look at the OG Sherman, they used 6 screws on this screen. In the Max, they only used 4. Doing it lazy. Saving $1 at the expense of the rider's safety. See, they're happy to put you at extra risk if they can make $1 more. It's like mathematics to them. $1, 1 dead rider. It's like an equation. Financially, it's feasible. So I just took out the 2 screws on the beeper. That's the beeper that beeps when you overpower it or you go over the speed limit that you set. So just take that and put it there. I mean, it couldn't be easier really. Just checking these buttons. Look at that. Just put it straight where it was. Put the 4 screws back in. And be really careful if you use a power drill like this to easily strip these bolts, or the bolt holes really, because it's metal and plastic. You want to be really careful. And now the alarm, just 2 screws. And that's it. I'll leave it there. I won't put the extra 2 screws in, and I won't even put glue on top like I normally do. If you look at my OG Sherman, I always put glue on top of everything. But I think it's overkill, to be honest. I doubt it'll ever come loose just by riding. And if it did, it would take 100 years probably. So that's ready. Look, brand new screen, new buttons. Hopefully these don't fall out. And all we got to do now is slide it back on, right? And then put those two cables that I unplugged, just plug them back in, and that's it. It's super easy. That cable there. The other thing I was going to do is replace the rubber caps. Because one of them broke. I'll replace both of them though, because they seem to be using this cheap rubber on this thing. And Yeah, I'll get this back out of the way actually. Oh, this is... Oh no, this looks a bit hard. This actually looks hard to replace. How do I do this? I can't access this from back here. I thought I'd just be able to reach through there and get these out, replace them. But it doesn't look like it. I'm thinking I might need some pliers and unscrew these rings. We'll see. No. What the how do I do this? No. I can see what I need to do actually, but it looks really tedious. Like I can't reach in here and get this done. Oh, you can just... Maybe it just wraps around. Hold on, let me try this. Oops. Oh, that didn't work. Well, it didn't work, but it might still work when I'm putting it back on. Let's see. Shit, this is not cool. No. No, I just broke the other one, so I gotta do this now. How the fuck do you do this? There's glue in there. What the fuck, dude? How do you do this shit? So I unplugged those, the power charging cables, so I make sure I don't short circuit anything. And I'm going to try and use these pliers to hold the back part there as I twist that. But it's looking pretty cumbersome. Not much space to reach through there. I'll try melting that glue that they've used there. Yes, looks like we got it. See, we got that rubber thing out now, the broken piece. And now we just feed the rubber thing, the new one, around that gap there. So we've got the new one right here. And I guess it's just, you just stretch it around this, it looks like. I don't know, to be honest, but yeah, it looks like it. Never saw a tutorial on this. Oh, it looks like this. Oh, done. It looks like it's got two jobs. It seals the power thing, you know, when you put the cap on, but it also seals around that ring like a grommet. Now just tighten this back up. Yeah, this is a major pain in the ass. There we go, got the tight. God damn. Yep, that's good. Now the other one, same thing. Just like that, see? And now we tighten. Now we just hold that nut on the back there as we tighten this connector. Just that metal part, you just tighten it with some pliers. That's it. And you want to be careful you don't short circuit anything while you got the tools near the motherboard, the main board, because the battery is still connected. A safe thing to do might be to disconnect the battery. But if you were to do that, you'd need to then take the side covers off. Not much more work, but I just be careful. Should be good. That's it. Got two rubber caps now. And that does feel like the soft rubber, so hopefully it'll last. Now just plug these back in. See, there's two connectors to plug in for the 2 charging ports. Then we put the screen back on, put 4 screws back in, and then 4 back in for the handles, and that's it. And it doesn't matter which one goes into which side. I'm assuming anyway, like I'm 99.9% sure. Alright, so just tuck these. We're just going to tuck them through here. I'm just going to inspect everything just to make sure I didn't damage the charging ports. Yeah, it looks good. Alright, so this, we're basically done now. So take that screen that we took off before, raise the handlebars. The handle, oh yeah, and by the way you work these handles when you've got the top off, it's just that you push that in as if that were the button, see? So it's locked, push it in and it goes down. And then it will lock down there, push it in, bring it back up. So grab the screen, slide it through. And it's quite simply plug these back into where they were. And that's it, done. See, just there. And now you can just close the thing up. Make sure you don't pinch any cables as you do that. Check all the corners, all the sides, the edges, and then close it up. And then put the 4 screws back in. That's it. Give it a bit of a dusting. Oh, there's not much dust in there at all. There's like none actually. With the King Song, that thing fills up with dust. And then you dust it out and it freaking sends out a cloud so big. You gotta wait like 5 minutes for the air to clear before you continue working. 4 screws. Be very careful when you do this with a power drill. It can save you some time, but you can also lose a whole lot of time if you strip one of these. You spend the next week trying to find a solution. Some tight stuff there. Just do it like tight but not too tight, like don't strain too hard as you twist. I just remembered something. I'm glad I changed this top cover and didn't use the original one because I had already bent the plastic a bit, so it wasn't sitting flush against this edge. It was like a bit of a deformation on the plastic, so it wasn't sitting nicely. But now it looks good. And that's it. All we're going to do now is the top handle. So you just put this in like that. See the holes there? It's got a hole there, a hole there. They feed through these, whatever you call these things, rods, shafts. And that's it. Put the screws in and it's done. I'll turn it on actually. Let's turn this thing on. Drum roll. Now of course we didn't do much, so we wouldn't expect any issues. Oh look, plug this back in first though. That's just the light. Yes, it works. Light, the light works too. Let's cover this up. Yes, I'm happy with this. So put those screws in, and that's all she wrote for this episode. 1, 2, 3, and again, be careful with these. Don't want to use the full force of a power drill like this. It'll destroy the handle. So I just finish up by hand like that. And one more. And we're finished. We're done. It's all over. Sherman is ready. the speaker. See, I got this, like, I made this thing so it holds that in place. So I can charge my speaker using the Sherman if I want. See, look. So that's the light that's plugged in right now. I'll put it in the light. See, that's the tail light. Unplug that. You could get a double adapter too if you wanted. And then plug the speaker in. And now my speaker is running off the Sherman. I never really need to do that though, because it's got a good battery in itself. See, the speaker's charging. But when I park my Sherman, I've got a charger right next to it, so normally I just charge my speaker when I charge my Sherman. Therefore, I never really need to do this. But if I ever run out of juice on my speaker, I can just plug it into the Sherman. You know, unlimited music. Pretty cool. Well, that sounded funny. Did you hear that? Every now and then it does that. Makes you worry. Makes you wonder, like, if it can't make the beep sound properly, can you trust it to freaking hold you up at 40 miles an hour? But those are the chances we take. It's done. Beautiful. Looks good. Oh no, I got mud on my shoe. That's no good.